The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio this morning, we're talking wrestling. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Frank?
Good. This is an interesting one. So tell us about your new book, Wrestling with the Cold War.
So Wrestling with the Cold War was my dissertation for my doctorate.
Okay.
I just graduated from Liberty University with my doctorate in history. I wanted to write on something about the Cold War. It's actually slightly humorous on how I got to that. I was originally going to write on Ronald Reagan ending the Cold War. I've already written one book on it. We discussed it once.
Yeah, right.
And the person who's in charge of my, your mentor, it has to be something original. So I went through 4 different ideas. I'm starting to get slightly frustrated. I'm like, okay, how about professional wrestling in the Cold War? It's a great idea, and it's original. And but it was really neat because I really been thinking about this for a long time. I even wrote another paper on professional wrestling and pop culture, and we were just talking about that. And people don't fully grasp the power of what professional wrestling has to influence groups of people or large parts of America on how we view pop culture and history.
Right.
And that's what came out of Wrestling with the Cold War. As again we were talking about, the Cold War was the first. It was first off, it was 45 years of war. Mm-hmm. That's like 1/5 of our history.
Right. That's a good point.
So then you look at it, and that's the first pop culture war, meaning that it's on television, it's in movies, it's in books.
Magazines, everything.
Yeah, when I did polls, everybody's like, Rocky IV,
right?
Top Gun.
Sure.
But that's what pop culture is. That's how we, as Americans, view ourselves in history and in form. And so pop culture was huge with professional wrestling, as it came to be in the 1980s. And then it was very strong in taking what professional wrestling does is, there's a great quote by Tony Atlas. And Tony Atlas, Mr. USA,
of course,
once quoted, "If you want to see what's going on in the world, come and watch us and we'll put a mirror to your face."
Interesting.
So what he's saying, and this is the psychology and the sociology involved in with professional wrestling, is this. We're going to take stories from, instance, Cold War, other parts of history. There was a great one once when there was the whole Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, and they were about ready to seriously edit DX on USA Network. And Shawn Michaels comes out there and does this whole thing where I was up all night, was that intern. They loved it. But we're taking a piece of history and using it as... So professional wrestling did the same thing and making characters of the storylines of the Cold War, Russian characters and Soviet characters, and people and then they used the power of nationalism and patriotism. And
people eat it up.
Yeah. You got these characters of again, we were just talking about it. The Iron Sheik and you Americans, we hate you. I mean, you already got
and the
people
crowd's
hating
going
you.
crazy. Yeah. That's such a good point. How long did it take you to research this book?
It was over 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Oh, did you have to watch a lot of wrestling?
That's a great question. It's another humorous one because first off, I told my wife about it. Honey, I'm going to be writing about professional wrestling in the Cold War, and she's like, only you can write about professional wrestling for a dissertation. And it was really neat. That's one of the things that really stands out about my dissertation is there's not a ton of primary sources as of. It's hard to get a hold of professional wrestlers. Obviously, a lot are passing away. Iron
Sheik just died not that long ago, didn't he?
I think he was 8 years ago.
Oh, has it been that long? Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was 2 years ago. Piper was. They're all that's left is Jake the Snake, Magnificent Morocco.
Yeah.
I used a lot of YouTube, and you could watch their actual videos. So it's a primary source.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was really a pleasure to go back and find all these bits and pieces. And an interesting thing is, it really helped in explaining this. I don't know your age, but I'm 57. I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
I watched professional wrestling as a kid. As a kid, you don't, subconsciously you're listening to it, but you're just like watching the show.
Sure.
Now going back to it, I mean, there was a point where the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw, or not Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov are on, what was his name? He was a cowboy. He was, I can't remember the name of the wrestler. He was Barry Windham's dad.
Okay.
I don't remember it. But in the interview, the Iron Sheik's talking about, we'll cut your oil off, you big Texas man. We'll cut your oil off, and Blackjack Mulligan. Blackjack Mulligan's coming back. Oh, we can get our oil from Texas. But this is actually real world stuff that's being talked about. You're just throwing it around in a kind of like a little,
the sideline a bit, essentially.
Yeah. And then Nikolai Volkov gets on, tries to say something, and again he's calling him a commie. Well, this is actually lingo that was used at that time.
Right.
And so again, as a kid, you're getting this subconsciously, and you're being influenced on how you look at communists, how you look at Iranians, how you look at the Cold War. And that was the point of the whole book, is how professional wrestling shaped how we looked at the Cold War.
Right. Do you think Vince McMahon is obviously brilliant at marketing? Do you think this was just to make money, or was there a level of patriotism in there that he wanted? Or at the end of the day, is it just put people in the seats?
It was put people in the seats.
Yeah.
But he was brilliant at doing that because he knew how.
And would you say that was probably the peakish of wrestling? The peak? I mean, that was really the star-studded days.
The peak was... Well, there was two peaks, but at that time period, for like discussing about the Cold War, it had to be the part where when MTV and professional wrestling merged.
Okay.
And because you had such a change in pop culture and where professional wrestling sat in pop culture, meaning this, before the merger, you had pop culture looking at music. Rock music was huge in the 80s. You had, of course, movies that were huge in the 80s. Television was one of the main, I call it like the mainstay, the main area of pop culture. Professional wrestling was on the outskirts of that. It was, as Hulk Hogan was quoted, and I used it in my book, professional wrestling was more like, older men go to armories, you watch professional wrestling, they're drinking beer and having cigars. Obviously, that is not really a family environment.
Right.
Vince was brilliant, and he took professional wrestling, teamed it, and Cyndi Lauper was fully in it. I mean, Cyndi Lauper should be actually
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah.
Sorry. And because I mean, she even went along with like everything Piper did. She was even hitting Albino. I'm like, oh my, and And she's like, I think maybe 100 pounds.
Maybe, yeah.
And so, they did a brilliant segue of like, and it was so brilliant. We were talking about this because they're in Madison Square Garden, Mecca of New York.
Yeah.
You have Cyndi Lauper, which I believe in '84 was like one of the top 3 women singers.
Sure.
You had Dick Clark on there, which was known by everybody for his TV shows. Sure. David Wolf. And then, of course, Captain Albano's in there. And then comes Roddy Piper. Smashes a record over Albano's head. Cyndi Lauper covers Lou Albano. Piper kicks Lauper in the head. And, of course, he didn't hurt her. It was all staged. They were coming after Piper. I mean, they had to have police around Piper. And that was it.
The passion and the loyalty that wrestling fans have for the sport
is probably
is unique in that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no other group about it. I mean, there's been wrestlers who've been stabbed, shot, attacked on, and it was amazing because all of a sudden, out of that one move, you all of a sudden have this whole juggernaut of toys coming out.
Oh, sure.
And kids are now loving it. You got Hulk Hogan and the fans were just, I mean, to this day, fans are still loyal to like the old school wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Sure.
I mean, the wrestling fans are just, they're wonderful. I am a wrestling fan, so I can fully say this. I mean, I've taken my kids, and we still have moments where, like, in fact, my daughter wants to do a podcast with me, and we're like, Dad, remember when we did this and we saw Tess? Remember when we saw Shawn Michaels?
Oh, yeah.
And I was walking out of a store by Kawaneski Park.
Yeah.
And this gentleman was coming down. He was wearing like shorts that looked like Shawn Michaels' old thing. I'm like, hey, that's Shawn Michaels. We had this whole 15-minute conversation about professional wrestling.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, the wrestling.
The dedication. Oh, it's 100%. Who was your favorite wrestler?
Back in the day, Piper.
Piper. Okay, interesting. When you did the research for this book, it's called Wrestling with the Cold War. What was perhaps the biggest surprise, the biggest takeaway for you?
How much we discussed about this. Ronald Reagan was also the main part of it is in the 80s, set in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And part of that reason was because of Ronald Reagan. There was a whole change in the Cold War due to Ronald Reagan.
Sure.
There was a change in America because there was a change in morale. Americans were now kind of gelled together under patriotism and nationalism. Mm-hmm. Reagan was very good at creating this feeling like, hey, we're going to beat the Soviets. We're going to end the Cold War. And Americans really did appreciate that and flocked to it. We built up our military. And it also helped.
Peace through strength, right?
Yeah, peace through strength. And, then we did start having discussions. So, people recognized Reagan as a huge part, and he was just a part. He wasn't the soul, but he was a huge part in ending the Cold War.
Yeah.
Along with that, then, of course, it was like the perfect storm. Mm-hmm. And you had the American hockey team winning, and you had the famous,
and like you said, even with Rocky, right? Yeah, you had this that sense of patriotism.
So Rocky IV. They had the whole East-West thing always constantly going.
New Day in America, right?
Yeah,
or Breakfast in America, or what was it called?
But you're right. I just saw that commercial,
and
it was like everybody's coming together, and there was a happier feeling or a more safer feeling. I remember the '70s. I'm born in '69, so I remember the '70s, and there was, I always remember the scene from Rocky where it looks kind of, I don't want to say, anybody from Philadelphia, please don't get mad at me. It was kind of like a rundown area.
Yeah, sure.
And
that's fair.
And then, you come to the '80s, and we got glitz and glam and big hair and rock bands. I mean, it was a whole different time. And so, nationalism and patriotism were tied in with politics as well. And even Vince McMahon said that. He's like, everybody was rah-rah. That's why they put Hogan against the Iron Sheik.
And how easy is it to make someone like the Iron Sheik the heel? I mean, because like you said, the emotions are going to get hot pretty quick.
Professional wrestling is the one sports entertainment, sport that realizes and capitalizes on their fans' emotions.
Sure.
And it's not hard to push someone to do something when emotions are involved.
Right.
Make a decision, anything, we all know this, we're humans. To make a decision or get somebody to make a decision, they use it in advertisement all the time. Use it in politics all the time. Politicians do it. So professional wrestling is just great at doing it. I will take the Iron Sheik, which Americans already did not like because we had the hostage crisis.
Sure.
We had the oil embargo. We already didn't like, and it's kind of funny. I'm like kind of chuckling myself right now because we're talking about Iran, and here we are.
Here we're in 2026 still talking about Iran.
So. And then, as I said earlier, then you have this Iranian wrestler who's coming in, and he brutalized other wrestlers. So now he's already, he already made himself a bigger heel, and then he goes around just spitting on the ground, spitting on American flags.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't take an American much to spit on an American flag, and you're already
get
irritated. Yeah. So, then, no, you Americans suck.
Yep. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. So do you still watch wrestling?
Not as much.
Not as much?
No.
Do you think did you end up watching a lot in the research then? Or was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched a lot all the way up to the end of when Shawn Michaels and Triple H retired, which I think about 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Now, we didn't mention this at the beginning of the interview, but you work at CCC, Corning Community College, and you've got something neat just to change it from wrestling here for a moment. Tell us a little bit about your new Civil War class.
So we are at right now at Corning Community College. I also work at the University of Maryland Global Campus. We are putting together some what we call immersive classes. Our first one we're going to roll out is we haven't ironed out all the details yet, but we're working on what we call the immersive Civil War class. So we have in Elmira and Chemung County a great deal of historical sites. We have the Civil War prison, the graveyard, we have John Jones Museum, and we have our Chemung History Society, which a lot of people don't know. there was actually ties to the Lincoln assassination from Elmira. So what we are working on doing is having a class, obviously learning about the Civil War, but what makes it special, what makes it really like more, we call it hands-on and getting out into the community, is we're going to be going to these museums. We're going to be having a class in some of the museums.
That's a good idea.
I've reached out. I grew up in Lansing, New York. We, of course, in Lansing had Rogues Harbor and connections to the Underground Railroad, and the John Jones Museum is connected to the Underground Railroad. So we're going to bring the students, and we're going to have. I'm hoping to. I'm working with Lansing, and as we go on, hopefully have a speaker come up from Lansing also speak. And nothing's been slated yet as 110%, so I don't want to say.
Yeah, don't give away too much. Yeah.
But we'd like to try to maybe get to Gettysburg. So.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I want to do with this class is I personally, I mean, obviously we can't go to every single Civil War site.
Sure.
But I'd like to go to some of the closer ones, like the Harriet Tubman House.
Yeah.
I can do it. Harper's Ferry. Ford Theater, take some videos, walk around, so then I can also show the students, instead of just seeing a book, you're like, here, this is a video I took for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good idea. So, but nothing's set in stone yet, but when you get some more information and we can start signing people up, let me know, okay?
Okay.
We'll make sure to promote it. All right, before we go, Wrestling with the Cold War, where can people buy the book?
It will be available this week on Amazon.com and other platforms. And I'm going to be also seeing if I can get it available at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you do any book signings or anything, let us know, and we'll make sure to promote it, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
This is great. Thank you. Who would have known? Wrestling with the Cold War. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after that.